Okay, it's a few minutes after 5, so we'll get started. My name is Stephanie Krell. I'm the Wasco County Public Information Officer. Thank you to the folks in the room and online for joining us today. We have about an hour today to discuss the Small Business Administration Loan Program. I'd like to introduce Javier Calteco, the Public Information Officer for the Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience, Field Operations Center West for the Small Business Administration. He will be providing a 15 to 20-minute presentation on the SBA loan program, followed by a Q&A session. There's also a resource table in the back with some more information on the loan program. And during the question and answer session, for folks in the room, if you wouldn't mind just stepping up to the this table here and speaking into the microphone, that way folks online can hear you. And if anyone online would also like to ask a Q&A, if they could either raise their hand or put their question in the chat. And for everyone in the room, there's restrooms down the hall if you need that. And we'll get started. Javier, take it away.
Good evening, everybody. Again, my name is Javier Calteco. I'm a Public Information Officer with the Small Business Administration, Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. I started with SBA back in Harvey, in Texas, when I'm sure you probably heard about the big hurricane that happened in Texas. And ever since, I've been working with SBA, doing different assignments throughout the country. So I'm happy to be here to assist your community to rebuild or to recover as well and provide this information. I hope you find this information very helpful for your community. Again, this is for the Rowena wildfire. This is the 21181. I actually took that picture. I went there and took a picture. And just to give you a little summary overview of how this, we started the process is that on Tuesday, July the 8th of this year, SBA participating in a joint state of Oregon in Wasco County. On July the 8th, Wasco County met the criteria. So we had more than 25 damaged properties. In this case, we had 87 major homes that were damaged and over 70 minor homes that were damaged, as well as some of the businesses, about approximately 5. This is not exact. This is just at that time, that's what happened. And on July 16th, the SBA will approve the administrative declaration. And on July the 18th, we opened the first disaster loan outreach center here in the Dells. Here's a map of what the counties are. This is a primary county. We have the primary county in Wasco County. Then we also have the contiguous counties, and everybody in those counties for this declaration can receive the assistance that we are providing. The incident period was between June 11th to the June 19th. The disaster declaration. Oh, okay, sorry. This disaster declaration numbers is 21181. And we do have deadlines that we want to make sure that everybody knows about. If you have it for the physical damages, for the property, we do have a September 15, which is coming up. So we want to make sure that if you still need the assistance, to please apply before the deadline. For the economic injury disaster loan, we still have more time, which is for businesses and nonprofit organizations. This is the economic injury disaster loan, which is until April 16, 2026. Okay. Again, we have different types of disaster declarations. In this one, we do have an agency declaration, which we just need 25 different properties that are damaged. So in order to have a SBA declaration as an agency declaration, sometimes some of the other ones that you may hear about is a presidential declaration where FEMA and the Small Business Administration are providing this federal disaster assistance. And another one that is very common now is that we're also providing assistance for the rural areas. You have to have at least one, there's supposed to be just one property that has to be damaged in those areas as well. Those are the ones that I want to mention more because those are the ones that you're probably going to hear more about. Okay, so again, we have different types of loans. Our program is basically loans, and we have two different types of loans. The first one is for physical damages to your property. A lot of times individuals have insurance and they may be underinsured or underinsured. So we want to make sure that, if they do need the assistance, that they have an option with the Small Business Administration for assistance. Excuse me. We also have the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, which is a working capital loan to assist those smaller businesses and nonprofit organizations in case they are suffering economically due to the disaster that happened. We want to make sure that they continue their doors open and they don't close the doors just because they cannot make those payments that they need. Now, we do have limits for the business loans. We do have a limit for the physical damages of $2 million. We also have a limit for the economic injury disaster loan up to $2 million, or it could be a combination of the two up to $2 million. For the home loans, homeowners, we have up to $500,000 to repair or replace their primary residence. And for the homeowners and renters, up to $100,000 to repair their any personal property they lost. We also have mitigation improvements. This is an extra loan that you can request in case you want to make any mitigation improvements to your home or your business. You can get an additional 20% of any verifiable physical damages, and it's for homeowners. There's a limit up to $500,000. Okay. Now, there's you'll probably be like, okay, why should I apply with the federal government? Why, we have banks that probably can lend us the money, or maybe you have insurance, and which is perfectly fine if you have insurance, and actually we want you to have insurance, and if the insurance can cover 100%, that would be perfect, right? But in some cases, the insurance sometimes they don't cover 100%. We want to make sure that you have another option to be able to recover. So our loans are low interest, they are fixed, so you don't have to worry about that. We are a cash flow lender. So therefore, we want to make sure that you're able to make the payments versus just having a good credit score. Our terms are flexible; they're up to 30 years. There's no prepayment penalty. And the funds, okay, so if you have insurance, again, you don't have to wait until you have a settlement with the insurance in order to get or to apply with SBA. We also, as I mentioned, we have mitigation improvements, so you may be able to apply for that as well. You do not have to get an estimate before you can apply with SBA. And the loans, once you get the loan amount, you can modify that loan amount. For example, if you get your loan says $100,000, you're being approved for $100,000. If you feel like you only need $50,000, you can request SBA. Say, well, I only need $50,000. I don't need the $100,000. You can do that. Or if you feel like you spent $100,000, you still need more money to recover, you can always request an additional, additional amount. It could be 10,000, 50,000, whatever, and SBA will make that determination if they can do that. Again, there's no obligation to take the loan. So once you've been approved, doesn't mean that you have to take the loan. You have 6 months to decide whether you want the loan or not. And one of the other things that a lot of people don't know about SBA is that you may be able to qualify for refinancing. So in some cases, for example, let's say you have a mortgage and your house was totally destroyed and you don't have insurance, then there's a possibility, as long as it doesn't go over the limit of $500,000, you may be able to use that, well, sorry, to borrow the SBA, and then also refinance what you have, and the possibility of getting a lower interest rate with SBA. And again, these loans go up to 30 years, so then you can possibly get still a low payment with combining the two loans together. Now, one of the things that they have changed lately, it has been that there's a deferment for your payments. So for the first 12 months, you don't have to make any payments, and for the first 12 months, it's 0% interest rate. So one of the things that we try to tell individuals, even if they have insurance, and even if they think that they are covered 100%, they should apply with SBA still. As I mentioned, you don't have to take the loan if you don't need it. You don't have to accept it. But you want to be covered at least, in case the insurance doesn't cover 100%. You want to make sure that at least you have that option to cover any differences. You can use the SBA loan for your deductible as well. So that's another option that you can do. Okay, so what are some of the requirements for the approval? So first of all, have to have your property has to be in a disaster declared area. We just mentioned the county, some of the counties that you should be in, which is in this case Wasco County, and one of the contiguous counties. Your credit history has to be acceptable to SBA. We try not to say, oh, you have to have a 700 credit score, because we don't go based on credit history only. It's primarily, as you can see, we want to make sure that you're able to make those payments for any loans that you may have. We don't want to give you a loan that you are not going to be able to make the payments for. In some cases, you may be able to, SBA may ask you to have insurance. So you want to make sure that if SBA asks you to have insurance for a particular loan, please have that, because if you do not have the insurance for the duration of the loan, the next time you ask for an SBA loan, they may say, no, we cannot lend you because you did not comply with what the requirements were. Okay, so in the back, I do have some of these flyers that you can take home, for businesses, one for homeowners and renters, and the other one's for the economic injury disaster loan. I'll just go over a few things that you may be helpful for you. So some of the things that we recommend that you should have ready is make sure you have an email address for everybody who's applying, and of course, their contact information, social security number, and in some cases, the employer identification number, any financial information, including the income, any expenses that they may have. If it's a business, then you also want to have like the schedule of liabilities. They're going to ask you for the latest federal tax return. If you're a business, they may ask you for the last 3 years federal tax returns, and any insurance information that you may have available as well. You don't have to have it, but at least if you have it available, that would be great as well. We do have different resource partners throughout the country. We have over 1,400 different partners throughout the nation. As you probably have heard of the Small Business Administration, the SBDC, Small Business Development Center. So I'm sure you probably have heard, because there's one here in the Dells, helping the community as well. And again, we do have the Oregon Business Development Center, which is in Columbia, Georgia. Columbia? Oh, okay. It's called the Columbia Georgia Small Business Development Center. It's at the 400 East Scenic Drive in the Dells. We also have the Women's Business Center, And they provide different assistance to businesses and nonprofit organizations whenever they need. If you want to start a business or just need assistance when we're not here, they can help you as well, guide you, at least guide you to where you should be going to. Okay, I think that's it. Okay.
All right, are there any questions in the room? If you'd like, you can step over to the table and turn on the microphone and ask Javier. Or if there's folks online, you can raise your hand, or I just turned on the chat. You can also put a chat.
I'm Phil Brady. I'm one of the Wasco County Commissioners. Thank you for coming. So can these loans be used for any purposes? For example, if I had vehicles that were destroyed in the fire, can they be used or do they need to be used for replacing households?
Okay, so depends on the loan that they're going to be receiving. For example, you mentioned for let's say for a vehicle, so it is meant to be to replace that vehicle that was lost. In most cases, it's going to be a personal vehicle, and yes, so they should be using it for the purpose. Now, if they intend to use it for a different purpose, they should at least make the comment to the SBA when they have the individual the agent and they can mention it to them, make sure that they're okay, they know about it, and that's going to be okay. It's not going to cause any issues for them.
So in general, the answer is yes, if it's a personal vehicle replacing what I was.
Yeah.
Much of the damage was also done to infrastructure, septic lines, water systems. Are these loans always to individuals, or if there's a collective system, that's a whole different animal?
Okay, the loans are basically for homeowners, renters, nonprofit organizations, and businesses of all sizes.
And businesses.
Yes. Yes, if it's a city, we don't deal with the cities. They usually go through FEMA. They have a public assistance. Yeah, public assistance. Mhm.
I just want to thank you. I've been following some of the residents of Rowena as they came out of the fire. It was traumatic, and people were very tense. And as they've been working with your agency, I've seen them become really happy that okay, things are moving and there's light here and we can move forward. So thanks all that you're doing.
Yes, no, thank you. And I just want to mention that right now, as of yesterday, we have loaned more than $1.2 million for this declaration alone. And we have disbursed more than 96,000. As I mentioned, just because we approve it doesn't mean that you have to take it right away. If you feel like if you want to wait like a month or 2 months, that's okay. We can do that. The only thing, just make sure that you know that, SBA is going to put it on the side. There's a term used. Doesn't mean that they're going to decline you or your application is not going to go through. You just want to make sure that they just put it on the side. Like, okay, you're thinking about it, let's just put it on the side. When you're ready, before 6 months, then come back and then we can continue with the process.
Hi, my name is Wylisha, and I was just wanting to find out what the process is, or do you guys cover fire mitigation, like as we plan for the future?
Yes, okay. So if you had, okay, that's part of the mitigation loan that we have available.
Okay.
Now, the only thing is that in order to qualify for that, you do have to have some kind of damage to your property. In this case, for example, we had to have 20% of the verifiable physical damages to your property. So if you had $100,000 in verifiable physical damages, you can request an additional $20,000 for mitigation purposes.
Okay. Okay. I think that's it.
Mhm.
Thank
Yeah, I hope that they change that. Think that it would be good for homeowners or even businesses to get the mitigation, even if they didn't have any damages, because you never know. At least that would help
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah.
future.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question for you. If a resident applies for an SBA loan and they are denied, do they have any other options? Or are there any other opportunities to appeal or request a second look?
Yes, good question. Thank you. Yes, actually, if just because the SBA declines your application doesn't mean that that's the end. You do have the option to, depending on the denial, what the reason why you were denied. You want to use an example or?
I don't have a good example, but if you have a denial, is that just the end, or is there an opportunity to kind of reevaluate the situation, or if there's other avenues they can take to maybe get the application approved?
Yes. All right. Let's say that it was because of the income. They failed the income test. There's a possibility. They have 6 months to have the possibility of things change, right? Things can change. You can either, if you're married, maybe let's say your spouse starts working, so you have an extra income. Possibly you can get a cosigner. That can also change your situation. So there's different ways that can help you to get approval. You have 6 months to make those to wait for those changes.
It looks like we have a question online from Andrew. If we had an insurance payout on the loss of our home, can we still qualify for a loan for some additional funds?
Okay, if we don't duplicate the benefits, that's the only thing, first of all. And yes, if you feel like you were underinsured, like for example, to replace your home, SBA is designed to help you get back to where you were prior to the disaster. We're not gonna have you, for example, you have a 3-story house. We're not gonna give you money to have a 5-story house, for example. So we want to make sure that you're back into what you were prior to the disaster. But if your insurance doesn't cover the whole amount, and that's when we say underinsured, then yes, you can request an SBA loan for that as well. Mhm. Yeah.
My name's Wylisha, and I just have another question.
Yes.
So there is, and this could help maybe all of us. There's a lot of manufactured homes that were burnt. Maybe not all of them were considered maybe real property, and some of them might be considered personal property. Can you explain if that's covered and maybe a little bit on each of them? Can you brief that?
Hey, just to clarify, you said it was some of them were personal property and some of them were.
So some of these, say, manufactured homes could be deemed as personal property and not necessarily, deemed as, personal property rather than deemed as, real property. There's a difference between personal property and real property.
Okay. Good one.
Because
Okay.
they don't own the land it sits on. They just own the
Mhm.
manufactured
They're
So
home.
I see.
Yeah, personal property is like movable.
Okay, so in those cases, you can, for example, if it's considered not just personal property, then you can get up to $100,000 for any damages that occur. But if it was a real estate, like for example, it's considered real property, then you can get up to $500,000. Is that answer your question or?
Yeah, so, well, kind of. So is it, so we own a mixed use mobile home park. Like say, I'm just giving examples. So like say those weren't all deemed real property, maybe some of them were personal property. How would you guys cover that? Or could you give a rundown on that?
Okay, so
Because there's gonna be possibly some people that might not have their manufactured homes tied to their land, some could, but most of them should, but I'm just saying for ours, like if they aren't, because right now, that's what we're kind of up against, or saying that and then we provided some loan information and we're like, wait, these should, so we're kind of going back and forth.
yeah, I think the SBA or the representatives will be able to help you more in terms of this making those decisions because they would be able to see more of the details. But I'm sure that they will be able to help you with that. Yes, for
Okay.
sure.
All right, yeah, we're working with them. It's just, I was kind of just trying to get more information from you, like if you had any more information. But we are working with her, so it's, but I think our loan is all messed up right now. So we've been working with the title company and working with them, so it's kind of,
Yeah, if you feel like, the representative is not knowledgeable, sometimes we get some new people and we understand that sometimes they may not know everything or the information.
Okay.
You can always request to see if they can give you a different representative that's
Okay.
more knowledgeable about the situation, and we understand that things that can
He's
happen.
been pretty helpful so
Okay,
far, but
perfect.
we actually just found out about this today. And I'm like been down at the title company, and so it's been a big to do. And so I'm like, and that's what she's saying. So I was trying to get, like see if you had any information on that. So
Yeah,
because I'm finding out more and more, So,
right. Yeah, unfortunately, that's more on the how you say, more on the loan officer,
Okay.
and that they know more details about that. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
I'll just continue. She's been helpful. I'm just trying to, like I said, it's a mess right now. But okay, thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Any other questions from folks in the room or online?
That's Phil Brady again.
Mhm.
Well, that's good. And this is related to this, but it's not necessarily loan. Just want to make everyone aware that next Tuesday, the Columbia River Gorge Commission is going to have a meeting. And at the last part of the meeting, the Wasco County and and Hood River County together are asking the Gorge Commission to relax some of the restrictions that will help you get back onto your property. And so that's going to be online, and let's see, where would I be able to pull that out?
So there should be a post on the Wasco County Facebook page. I also sent out a notification through the citizen alert through the residents with the full press release on how to make comments. I believe, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe that the Columbia Gorge National Scenic Area Board meeting is scheduled for September 9th.
Yeah.
And I believe they need comment by September 8th, if those dates are correct. So take a look at that. You can always reach out to me and I'm happy to send you the press release with all those details. My email address is pio@co.wasco.or.us. But yes, it's really important to make comment so that we can work together to revise some of those rules that are in place.
Yeah. Our Gorge Commissioner said today that this topic will be brought up at the last part of the meetings. So 9 o'clock is when the meeting starts, but I wouldn't be surprised this part doesn't start until noon. No, that's when the meeting starts, but our part of their agenda is at the end of their agenda, so I would expect around noon. But I'm guessing there.
Thank you, Commissioner Brady. And I can get you those details afterwards. All right. Any other comments from folks online? Double check. Okay. All right. Well, thank you everyone for participating and coming. Thank you, Javier, for taking the time to present today. I will have this meeting available to watch on demand tomorrow. So if you weren't, I'm sorry, did you have a question? Okay. It's okay. So if you didn't have a chance to attend in person, the whole presentation will be available online. And I will also share Javier's contact information. So if you have any follow-up questions, you can reach out to him. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you.